Hello and welcome to the MEB Prep 101 course. My name is Jerome Spearman, and today I'm going to walk you through the key players of the MEB. My goal is to help you successfully navigate through the medical board process. So today we're going to identify the key players, talk about their roles, and how you can get the best results from them, and then some key questions that you may want to ask them when you are introduced to them. Some of the key players are the PEBLO, the Physical Evaluation Board Liaison Officer, your Omsbudman, the Office of the Soldiers Council, which is your lawyer, the MSC Liaison, the Military Service Coordinator, your commanding officer, your first line leadership, the MEB, PEB board members, the CEP examiner, the CNP rater, and the retirement service officer. So let's begin with their roles and objectives of each of these key players, and then we'll cover yours. So let's talk about the PEBLO. Their role is to serve as your primary point of contact throughout the entire system and to explain the process to you and keep you informed on the status of your packet as you go through the process. They also obtain your military service treatment records. They refer you to legal consultation when you're at certain points in the process that they refer you over to those individuals. And there's much more they're involved with their role, but those are the key aspects. In order to really understand how to get the best results from them, you should probably educate yourself about the process. And anytime they request for any required documentation, that you give it to them in a timely fashion. So, what should you expect from the PEBLO? You should expect receipt of any documents pertaining to the MEB or PEB findings. Administratively, they will assist you with the completion of a request for an impartial medical review, a rebuttal, or a formal board. They just provide you with the education necessary and needed about the process, but note that they do not give legal advice or advocacy. Some questions that you may want to ask them is, what are the key steps within the MEB and PEB process? How much time am I given to request an impartial medical review or a rebuttal during the MEB phase? How many days do I have before I have to make a decision of whether or not to request a formal board during the PEB? You're a commanding officer. Their role is they want to make sure that you recover and have the space and time to do so. And if you recover, great, you return back to duty. But if not, their goal is to initiate a medical evaluation board referral to confirm your abilities. In order to really get the best results from this person, is that you're engaged with them and you let them know what's going on with your injury and all the appointments that you're going through. Just keep them informed and abreast of your situations, perhaps an email, right? Just an email to let them know of where you are in the process and what's going on with your injuries. You should expect support from them and ultimately a commander statement if you are referred. Some questions that you may want to ask your commander is, in the event that I am referred to the IDES process, what information should I provide to you that will keep you informed of my progress? In other words, what do you really want to know? Because they have to eventually, if referred, write a commander statement. And how would you like for me to keep you informed? You want to meet with me once a month, once a week, talk to my first line, send you an email, send a smoke screen, like what, that gives them the information to know that you are engaged in this process. So what is the MEB board, the medical evaluation board? This is an informal process comprised of at least two physicians who compile, assess, and evaluate a soldier's condition to determine if the service member's duty is affected by the medical condition. And how to get the best results from the board? Well, having knowledge of your medical condition and then working with a lawyer, your lawyer, the assigned lawyer, working with them and having access to the supporting documentation, such as your medical records and buddy statements, so that you two can develop a plan of action in the event you want to do or request an impartial medical review or rebuttal. You should expect from them, however, a narrative summary and a decision of whether you will be referred to the physical evaluation board or you'll be returned to duty. So you don't really speak directly with the board, but through your PEBLO and through your lawyer, you can ask some questions like, how do I get these other conditions that may or should be evaluated? How do I get them to be evaluated at this stage? That would be a great question to ask the lawyer. If you were in my position, and I believe that there's other conditions that need to be evaluated and should be evaluated, what would you do? The PEB determines fitness for purposes of soldier retention, separation, or retirement for disability. To get the best results for them, it's the same as in the medical evaluation board. Have knowledge of your medical conditions, work with your lawyer, gather all your medical records and any supporting statements, but develop a plan of action for a formal board. Their role is basically to determine functional fitness of service members with medical impairments, request and receive proposed disability ratings from the VA, determine the appropriate compensation option based on the VA rating for the referred condition, and send the PEB findings to your PEBLO. You should expect from them a decision of if you are found fit or unfit for duty. So the Office of the Soldier Council, there really is two. There's a lawyer that helps you through the MEB phase all the way up to the PEB phase, informal phase. And their job is to inform you, assist, advocate for you during, both of those phases, the MEB and PEB phase, but also when you're requesting an impartial medical review and an MEB appeal or like a rebuttal. And for informal board decisions, they are there for you, right? They are there for you. If you're going through a formal board, then you will be given a PEB counsel who is there to help advise, give you information, advocate, and represent you during a formal hearing. To get the best results from the lawyers is to show engagement and interest in your case, have well organized medical records, and develop a chronology of timeline of events. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this. I'm giving you the navigation steps, which is if you develop a timeline of events, that can help a lawyer represent you in many ways because that's how they think. The questions that you may want to ask them is, what regulations should I know in order to understand the process and my rights or options? If I request a VARR, which is a request for rate consideration, should I submit this before I request a formal board or afterwards? Those are some key things. The military service coordinator, MSC Liaison, their role is to assist a service member in filing their VA disabilities claims at the beginning of the process. They serve as a resource regarding VA disability benefits and assist with issues that may arise during the claim process or receipt of proposed ratings. You should expect an interview to discuss your VA disability claims You should expect that they can clarify evidence needed to support your referred conditions, but mainly they're there to request VA examinations. Some questions that you may want to ask them: how does the VA define evidence? In other words, what types of evidence do they look for? Because I want to make sure that I have that evidence available. What evidence should I present? What is a buddy statement? When will I receive my ratings? What happens if the CMP examiner doesn't use a goniometer for my range of motions? What are my options if the exam notes don't really reflect what happened in the exam? What is the process to kind of combat that? Am I able to have a veteran service organization file my claim for me? And there's a whole host of other additional questions that you will find in the workbook. The ombudsman's role is really to assist with any issues that may arise medically or non-medically, but they are very independent, like independent, impartial mediators. You should expect what you should expect from them, and this is a very key player, is they will work with your unit to smooth out any obstacles that may arise, like deployments or field operations or things of that nature. Some questions that you should ask your ombudsman is: can I be deployed or sent to the field? Whether I want to or not, can I be deployed or sent to the field, put to the range while in this process? And what am I really allowed to do? And what is the unit allowed to make me do? Imagine at this point, you're probably like overwhelmed, stressed out, frustrated. I get it. But what we're going to do is make sure that ultimately you are engaged, you ask the right questions, you know the language, you know the verbiage, and you take ownership in this process. I'll see you in the next module.